Hello, hello, and happy anniversary to the Beepball Blues Show. Hey, Seth.
Yay! Woo!
I can't even clap because I have to hold this microphone. So no clapping. But hey, Seth, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you, Neil Dog.
What a big deal, right? 4 years of the Beepball Blues Show. Woo, woo.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, my thing started talking to me. Um, yes, it's amazing. The perseverance, you've changed the landscape of beatball with this, man. So, but no, good thing, man. Good thing. I don't know. Did you expect it to go 4 years when you started
No.
it?
No, I literally didn't even expect to go because it's March 29th. I literally didn't even expect it to go through the summer, like get to the summer. It was always a short-term thing and it was just fun. It was fun. And honestly, the thing that it did most for me as it went on was like reconnect me with the league. Because I hadn't been on the tournament committee for a while, hadn't been at the World Series for over a decade at that point, and I go to the World Series, and I felt like I kind of knew everybody almost, and a lot of them weren't there when I was playing before, and it's all because of the silly show. So I appreciate it for that, definitely. I didn't. And we don't have a big. There's no big anniversary thing. We're
No big Jeff Hardy party, man. Come on now. We
uh,
should have a whole line full of guests ready to make their appearance and say, "Thank you, Neil Dog. Congratulations, Neil Dog." You know how they do that stuff on TV and stuff. So, but I guess we don't. I guess we don't.
I mean, I do deserve that kind of recognition, but
Of course you do.
I'd have to put it all together, and that'd be a little too self-serving. As self-serving as I could be at times, that'd be a little too self-serving.
Yes, yes.
Let's bring on our boy who's easily been on the show more than anybody else, the co-host to the co-host, Demetrius Morrow, fresh off the Gateway Archers big tournament title out in Vegas. What up, Demo?
What up, what up, what up? Bullseye, baby. Bullseye in the house.
We're going to dive into the whatever, talk about the tournament, got some other things to throw out there. But what are your just like initial, just as a participant in general of the Vegas tournament, how do you feel coming out?
I mean, I actually love the tournament. I love the fields. Um, the weather was, it was all right. It wasn't
Yeah.
the
No,
best.
playing
Wasn't
beat
the
ball
worst.
and wind, it was like temperature wise, it would have been fine if all that
Yeah,
wind was, that was, it wasn't
yeah,
just wind, that was cold wind off the
yeah,
desert, man.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are complaining. You guys should go back to Vegas and play in July. See, see
Yeah,
what you
right.
guys like.
Right.
See how you appreciate the weather you got.
Friday night when I was working bases for the Thunder Fire game, I was out there freezing.
I was listening to that.
I was out there freezing.
I was back at our Airbnb and we were waiting because one of our players, unfortunately, Corey Turner, had to go to the hospital that night, and I was waiting for our group to get back from the hospital and listening to that, and I heard you talk about how cold you were. You said
Uh,
something because they were like, "You're from Minnesota," and you're like, "Yeah, we spend this kind of weather indoors, though."
yeah, yeah. Outside. Yeah.
Uh, Demo said in Minnesota, there's 4th of July and indoors the rest of the year.
Oh, believe that.
No, I was
That's why
checking
that's why
that
you
out.
get 125 days of basketball here. Basketball season goes from like November to March out here. Indoor sport, baby. Indoor
Uh,
sports.
Uh, No,
But
I thought it was cool though. It seemed like everybody had fun, I guess, which,
yeah,
I know we're there to play ball and certainly wind doesn't hurt when you're playing blind. I mean, it doesn't help when you're playing blind sports, but there's nothing anybody could do about that. I know. I mean, our team got whooped in all 3 games, yet we still came out of it having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it was Vegas, so it's a lot of stuff to do. A lot of people who have never been to Vegas, and it's the first time there's been a b-ball tournament in Vegas. So, um, you
What
have
did you
that
do in
aspect of
Vegas,
it.
Demo? Did you partake of any of the Vegas sites? What did you
I
do?
mean,
Did you
I
go
was just
gambling?
in Vegas. I was just in Vegas in September, so we did a lot of
Uh,
things then. So, um, this time just really hung out with my team and bonded. We did some gambling, did some checking out the sports books, making bets on college games and things like that. But
Did your team all stay in an Airbnb together also?
yeah, yep,
Yeah, it seems
we
like
were.
I know Philly did that also. They were bragging to us about how big there was. They had a pool. We didn't have no pool. I wouldn't have gone swimming over that weekend anyway.
We didn't have no pool either. We had a hot tub though, with two cats guarding it though. Two big old feral cats out there.
That's funny.
Neil, I take it you didn't go to the blackjack table and tell your team to come
I,
pick me up,
I no,
later
no,
on in the
didn't.
day. You didn't do any of the
I
Vegas
we were
highlights.
Saturday night. We were around some slots, and I didn't do nothing. I didn't touch any of it. None of us really did. That Saturday night after the tournament's the only time I really did any. We went out as a team for dinner, and I don't even know it was at one of the hotels that has a casino part of it or whatever. Went to a
All of them
restaurant.
have the casino part of it.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Uh, That makes sense though. But I mean it was packed in there, but we had to wait like an hour, to get 15 people in for dinner on a Saturday night. We had to wait like an hour, so we were just walking around. And that was like the most activity that I did. We went to a restaurant called Dick's where the
Big
the
Class Resort.
yeah,
Yeah.
the staff treats you like dirt. Not really.
Hmm.
It wasn't that harsh or whatever, but like Seth, they got a DJ going the whole time playing music and he's encouraging you to sing. And then if it sounds bad, he just stops. He's like, God, shut up. You guys suck. Whatever. We're doing the We Will Rock You, teach everybody how to pound on the table and clap or whatever. So it was kind of crazy. But they go around and put paper hats on everybody while you're there at the table. And mine said Viva Viagra.
Yeah.
No, I know when I was there last, or the only time I've been there, wherever we ate, Daryl got paddled, and that was funny,
Ah, the
man.
Heart Attack Grill. Our
Yes,
team
yes.
went there. I left on Monday, but those who were left on our team, they went and tried dinner, whatever, went to lunch there, and from what I understand, just about everybody in the group got paddled.
Oh man,
I've
it was
I've
fun.
I've got video of one of them.
I have a record. We have video of Daryl, man, and this girl smacked the shit out of Daryl, boy. Oh,
Wait,
you were.
wait,
I was
wait.
surprised. This girl went to town on Daryl, boy.
You go there and you willingly let yourself get paddled?
Yeah, I have no idea. She didn't. But Daryl was the only one who did it. I thought he thought he thought that. I guess that she wasn't gonna do
That
it
shit
that
gonna give her a
hard,
little
boy.
love tap or something?
Yeah, man. This little waitress tore that boy's ass up, boy. That was great, man. Pow!
For-
It's like,
former
boom.
tennis player.
Yeah, right.
For that that forehand. Wow.
She took out any anger she had on any ex-boyfriend on Daryl. Boy, that was funny, man. That was funny.
That's awesome. I it's gonna if it's not on Facebook, it's gonna end up on Facebook. But while we were walking around waiting to get called to dinner, we came across these two dudes that went by the Thunder Down Under. And they were walking around. I know they were shirtless, like big old muscle dudes, all shirtless and whatever. I know they were like putting like beads around the ladies' necks or whatever, taking pictures. So I'm just kind of I was just standing off to the side, letting everybody get their pictures, whatever. They're all having fun with it, and all of a sudden dudes are like, come on, coach, you gonna take a picture with us? Nah, I'm good. And they just drug me over there to take a picture with them. And
Oh,
and so I'm in between these two dudes, one black, one white, big old dudes, all muscled up, work out 4 or 5 hours a day, according to them, which nobody doubted it because they're all muscled up. And I'm sitting there trying to make jokes like, oh, guys, come on. I don't want to make you, I'm flexing. Like, I don't want to make you guys look bad. Ha, ha, ha. They picked me up in the air. Had one on each side holding me, and they took a picture. And I looked like the giddiest little schoolboy because as soon as they picked me up, I just started laughing and snap. There's the picture. My mouth wide open, all happy, big old half naked dudes holding me. So,
can that please make it to the internet? I
what'd
need
you
to make
say?
a. I said, can that please make it to the internet? I need to make a meme out of that. I need to
Yeah.
make a meme out of that picture.
I signed my life away with the Sirens contract, so they get to use any of their pictures they want to. You know, I've already been warned it's coming. So if it's not out there, it will be. But overall, man, like I said, we kind of got whooped on, and still, I don't know, we had a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Seth has things he's got to get to, so we got to kind of pop through our agenda. I want to address something since this has been public, and I don't like the way that it has been publicized. But addressing Dave Benny's comments towards the Sirens. I mean, he first, after we got whooped on for 3 games, uh, proudly made a post about how, is it time to just make this a man's league or something along those lines. He ended up getting so much pushback that the coward took it down, like he's done other comments, kind of like when he suggested I'm only on the Sirens because I'm trying to get laid. These are Dave Benny's words, not anybody else's. He then later, like a coward, took it down. He stirs these kinds of pots and then just leaves them. But what I want to address, because he later started, after taking his post down and trying to deflect all the negative attention that he was getting from most people, he then started going around on different posts suggesting that the Sirens don't take their player safety um, serious, and that's what I want to address because it's 100% wrong. And he's not suggesting anything we did wrong. He's just throwing dirt. He's, as far as I can tell, just simply deflecting from his previous despicable post, but he's not at any point saying what we've done wrong that he's so concerned about that he's posted about it publicly at least twice that I know of, and then went on Richie's show and still went on about it, still not saying anything we're doing wrong, suggesting what we need to do right, but he doesn't know what we're doing or what we're not doing. He was encouraged to reach out to the team if he's got real concerns, which he has not done. He's just throwing dirt. Man, when we got out there, most of us got out there Wednesday night, and we were out practicing for 3.5 hours on Thursday. We only had 6 of our players, and Bailey, who helps me on the defense, wasn't there yet. But I mean, about 80% of that practice was defense because I know how much work we need to put in before we're fully ready. We used all the time we could take. I spent time ahead of the tournament talking to players about what they can do, what they can't do. I've brought a new defense to this team, new zoning system for the spotters. I'm coaching it for the first time, really. So like we're all in transition, but we went out and what? You good?
No, my back hurt. I moved.
Oh, okay.
I'm old, Neil. Dog, come
Yeah,
on
yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's the
No,
whole
you're good.
normal.
I was already self-conscious that I'm talking too much and not dragging
No,
you
you
guys
talk too
in.
much, Neil.
Yeah,
Like,
but
no,
that's not what I'm.
no.
It's not what I wanted to turn it into. But I do want. I want more. I'm not even really talking to Dave Benny. I want people to know. Like he could say these things, but he's just simply throwing dirt at us because that's what Dave Benny's been doing when it comes to the sirens, and he's keeping it up. Um, but I mean, I spent time ahead of this tournament talking to each player, including Winter Pingle and TK Saffold, who were coming to us from other teams. I spent time talking to every individual about what their role was going to be and what they could and couldn't do. Then we got out on the field. Once we were all set in positions, we didn't just start hitting the ball. I went around from position to position, making sure people were comfortable with where they were. I'm telling them how I wanted to talk to one another, whatever. And then, like early Friday morning, because TK wasn't there with us yet on Thursday. She got in at like 1 in the morning Friday morning. Bailey came in on a red eye at 8 in the morning, and we were out practicing again on Friday because TK needed to learn all this stuff to work with us on defense. I had two positions in mind for her to play, and I couldn't just throw her at both of them. So we were back out again, even though we were playing at 4:30 on Friday. We were back out again for a couple more hours on Friday morning, and again doing a lot of defense. Mari hardly got to pitch to the players because I needed them on the field to
Well,
teach them.
what makes you what? I mean, with Dave Benny not saying anything of what you
On
know,
Richie's show, he spent a lot of time after they talked about the sirens. So I have to assume he's directing at the siren, talking about what players have to do to be ready out on defense for everybody to be safe and know their roles or whatever. So I'm kind of assuming from that I don't know if he listened to a stream and saw a couple players hit each other or whatever. I mean, I don't know what's causing it because again, he's not saying anything specifically, but I hate the
or,
narrative that he's saying we're not taking player safety serious. And then just to close it off, like um after our practices and trying to get everybody as ready as possible, I told you I had TK in mind for to play two different positions, but because of her experience, having played a little bit more than outside of Kim and Kalari, she's got more experience. So I did warn her. I was like, man, if anything goes wrong with any of the players, because there's three players we plan to not take out at any point in time, if possible, because we only had seven going in. Um, and I was like, man, if I have to remove one of those three players, you might be my first candidate to shift into those spots, even though we're not going to be able to work at it. Anyways, that happened when right before our very first game against the Fire. I wanted each player to run at least two bases at like 75-80% because we didn't have bases with us, and they hadn't ran bases since the World Series or since the Mind's Eye tournament in most cases back in September. So our second time through, Corey Turner, who ran second in the second time through, hit the base, took a bad fall and hit her head and the back of her neck on the ground, and she ended up having to leave in a C collar. Thank God she's good. She was under some like minor concussion protocols or whatever that she's been following up with her doctor, and everything looks good from that. But like 5 minutes before the game, one of our players who was going to be one of the three players that wanted to go the whole way had to go to the hospital or whatever. So after practicing TK at two spots, had to move her up to Corey's spot like 5 minutes for the tournament. So like we had a lot of stuff thrown at us or whatever. We did everything we could, and we're going to continue to keep doing that. But the narrative that we don't take our player safety serious is absolute garbage, and I don't want it out there. So that's why I had to respond to that. He made it a public thing, so that's the only reason I'm bringing it to the show. I don't plan to make our sirens business part of the show. I don't plan to be on here every episode defending what we're doing or not doing, but I mean he made this a thing, not us. Again. again.
I've always said the most dangerous play in b-ball is hitting that base, going through that base, because
Absolutely.
you don't know what in when that ground is going to grab you.
Absolutely right.
And I've seen DB taken off on in an ambulance as well. So I don't know.
Do you know if that was from like defense or offense? Yeah,
I have
not that.
no
Yeah.
idea. I don't remember. It was a while ago. I just remember him being taken off in an ambulance. So
I dislocated my shoulder playing defense, and Juan Gonzalez Gonzo from the comments dislocated his playing defense. He actually made the play still. I did not. But every other shoulder injury I've ever heard of in beatball is a crash after hitting the base.
well,
And
Running
you
the
know who
base. Go ahead.
last year Steve Perrier did that
Yeah.
for the Blackhawks, and he
Yeah.
was back this weekend at the tournament. I didn't see him bat, but he played some defense out there,
Yeah,
picking up some balls.
he was the designated fielder in the game that Kendra Badger and I called the third place game. But I was happy, and I while we were doing the stream, I don't know why I always forget his last name. Not forget it. I don't feel like I'm gonna say it right. It's Steve Purrier.
Yeah,
I don't know. I said his name and his number all the way through the game. I never said his last name. But I did bring up that he was back playing after I was listening last summer when he hurt his shoulder, but I couldn't remember, like, wasn't it like a really bad collarbone break rather than a shoulder or something? Do you remember?
I think more of the shoulder dislocation.
All right. Yeah,
I think it was.
I remember it was ugly though.
Yeah,
So it was really good to see him back out there.
but you break up that game, man. Ken just call on that home run ball. Man, she was amp on that one. That was
Yeah,
like the best. That was the
I
best beat ball home run call I think I've heard.
I was able to jump on it too. Mostly thank you to Jordan Simpson, who was working as the umpire. Like she called it really quickly, and I heard it clear as a bell. I was like, wow, wow, what a moment! Did you know what happened with that set dog?
no, I don't. I got no idea.
It was the Philly Fire came up in the top of the sixth. I don't remember what the score was when the inning started, but he when he came up, the score was 16-14, and he hit a home run and tied it up in the sixth inning. Philly and they didn't score again after that. So
Nope.
like had that not been a home run, Austin would have already gotten a win. And then our boy Mikey P came in and walked it off in the bottom of the sixth. But that was the best game overall. Competition wise, I think. Do you disagree, Dima?
I mean, yeah, 'cause, I mean, the other games were no competition. You look at the Arch. No, let me stop. Let
No, you're
me
good.
stop.
You're
Let me
good.
stop. No, no,
You
no.
know,
We know.
Seth
Hold
We
on,
and
know.
hold
I
on,
We
real
know.
quick. Hold on. Have we moved on from the Dave Benny thing? Because I have something to say. I think it is
Okay.
absolute
Okay.
BS
Mhm.
that people normalize his behavior. I am, Richie Flores does this stuff all the time, and I know nobody else is going to jump on, on what I'm saying. When I'm speaking for me, not the Beatball Blues show. I'm speaking for me. Richie Flores then goes and normalizes him. Oh, he kind of made an apology. He's a sexist. He is a racist, and the NBBA supports it, and it is absolutely ridiculous and disgusting, right? Everybody excuses his behavior all the freaking time. And I was able to see the post. There were a lot of people who were pissed off about what he said, regarding the sirens, or women not being in the sport. So there were a lot of people who were upset about that. But then for the NBBA's, main guy Richie Flores on his show to normalize it and excuse it. I didn't listen to the show, but to normalize it, excuse it, even to have the man on is disgusting. At some point in time, people need to make a stand. right? I've been saying this about DB for years, and nobody will. And he's going to go to second vice president, and everybody's going to kiss his ass and be all good and be all, like it's all normal. And it is absolute BS, man. It is BS, BS, BS. So I just want to say that we can go back to the game, the games or
No,
whatever. But
I'm,
it
I'm,
is disgusting,
I
man.
was,
Disgusting.
well, one, I didn't know, that you wanted to say something. I wasn't like,
No, no, I
I
hear
was
you.
ready to
I hear you.
transition, but I did listen to the show. Um, One, I'm disappointed that Richie is advertising that as an apology because I don't accept it as it's not that I'm not accepting an apology. I don't feel like he made an apology. And when you make an apology, you use I statements. And the only time he was really using I statements was when he called himself an elitist and gave himself credit for having a powerful voice. When it came to the comments that he had made, he made it sound like it was a league and a membership problem. We as leaders need to remember this, and we as the membership need to do that. Dave Benny, the membership didn't make the disgusting suggestion that I'm part of the sirens because I'm trying to get laid. You made that suggestion. Nobody else that has ever come to my ears. That's you making those comments. You said maybe this should be a man's game, not the league, not the membership, not the leadership. You're making these comments. So you're the one that needs to be reminded of these things. And you still haven't apologized for any of the things that I've mentioned. You have not apologized. You have deflected and you've tried to sound it's what Seth calls coaches speak. You came out with coaches speak. You said what you think the membership needs to hear so that you could still get the votes you want. You did not apologize. And I believe that you made the comments that you made with a smile on your face. For what I hear, even his own sister was disgusted by it, allegedly. So
No,
I'm with you 100%. I'm disappointed. I'm not. I kind of Dylan Barry had said it like I don't know that we as a people should just tell somebody they shouldn't have the chance to speak on themselves. But I'm disappointed that Richie is advertised that as an apology because I didn't, it didn't seem like hardly anybody did, but I did not take that as an apology. Shout out to Richie Cressel's wife, Kelly, who I don't know, but her post was fantastic, I thought, and very, very on the money.
sad state of affairs in the beatball world, as has our own politics. But absolutely, that to normalize him, to try to make it so he has this path to become the an officer of the organization. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully, somebody steps up and runs against him, and hopefully the membership will speak with one voice and tell him to go, take a flying leap or whatever. So, but I'm done.
Demo,
But
before
go
I transition too early, do you have comments?
Man, if I've always been raised and taught, if you offend someone and they tell you they're offended, you should apologize to them, to the person you offended.
That's a good point. And not only has he made no attempt to reach out to the sirens and explain why he's publicly stating that we don't take our player safety serious enough, he has not reached out to the sirens and apologized for any of his comments, most recently or previously, where he was suggesting, whatever. I've said it enough. I'm not going to keep repeating it, but he's never apologized for anything. He takes the post down and thinks everybody will forget about it and let him move on. Coward, total coward, total coward. All right, let's dive into the tournament, man. Dima, I would like to hear because the Gateway Archers dominated this tournament. Your archers were in the news, I would say, more than any team out there because of the additions of Justin Holland, David Smith, and Little Ricky. Obviously, all great additions to any team. You guys dominated this tournament. Just from a player standpoint. Talk about how it played out for you guys winning the tournament. I also am interested because I haven't been able to go back and listen to the games yet. Like how what where did you guys set up like defensively? What were you guys doing defensively?
Defensively, we run the the double V, the 2-2-2, too short, too mid, too deep. Um, and we run the six zone up the middle. So one on the line, six up the middle,
All right.
two spotter system. Um, we've tried several different defenses since I've been with the Archers, and I think we've settled on this one. Uh, but yes, the 2-2-2 system.
Who and obviously like with Ethan winning the utility award. He was moving around, but do you guys have kind of like a more common setup that you went with at least over this tournament in Vegas? Like, who was playing where? I know Justin was in the outfield,
Um, I mean, it depends on what game,
right?
honestly, because Justin played some front, Ethan played some front, then they both played deep in the Thunder game. Um, I think D. Smith started some time in deep lab, but he also played mid. I think the only person who didn't move was Mark. He played mid left the whole time. Um, Ricky played left and short right. I think Kyle did the same. So guys were just moving around, um, depending on who was in the lineup, who was on the field.
All right. I I gotta be honest with you. I am blown away by how quickly Mike Curtis is climbing up the charts as a pitcher. I saw him pitch last year, the day I got out to the World Series on that, or I guess the second day I was there on Thursday, that Thursday night when you guys were playing Chicago. And I remember then just like, ready pitch contact. It's like, wow, Mike Curtis has really come through. But he had a really awesome weekend. He had 89% contact. Did you know this was coming with Mike?
I I I my first tournament with the Archers, like as an archer, my first tournament, we went down to Georgia and they ran it three strikes. That was um
Oh,
and
right.
Mike pitched that tournament on three strikes the whole tournament. And I was like, man, like I like what we did in this tournament. Like we were banging, we were hanging in there with Atlanta. And I thought at that time if Mike wanted to be the full-time pitcher, that could have been a good route for the team to go. Um it didn't work out that way. Mike didn't really take over until Walker got hurt last year. And if you look at the World Series last year, once Mike got on the mound, it seemed like the team just took off. We lost that game to Bayou City, that shortened game on I think it was Thursday. Because of the time limit, we feel like. But we 12 run Chicago after that, we 12 run Tyler after that, and then just coming into this off season, um, picking up those guys that we did and Mike putting in that work and everybody else putting in that work. And it just showed when we got to Vegas, Mike seemed like he got better because the World Series, I think his contact rate was like 82, 84, somewhere in there. Like you said, it was 89 this time. And I mean, we've really been together just four, maybe like four times this offseason. So we expect good things out of Mike going forward, as we get more and more time together, more and more reps. that was definitely an impressive showing first time out of the box.
Absolutely. So run down the scores of your three games.
The first game was against the Panthers, and it was 18-3. I think we ran them in the second. Second game was against the Blackhawks. 25-7 was the final. I think we ended up running them in the fourth. And then the championship game against the Thunder was 25-15. We ran them in the third.
Yeah, I know that the Thunder, like Kyle Lewis wasn't here, no Zach
Yeah,
Bueller,
no
no
G, no
G.
Zach.
I don't
Yeah,
think
for
was
sure.
I don't think Ikram was here. Am I right?
No, Ikram
Yeah,
wasn't
so
there
no
either. No.
Ikram. So I know the Thunder, they weren't at full strength.
Oh yeah, for
I think
sure.
your team's the only team that was really at full or close to full. But that aside, like the Thunder still had a quality team out there, and obviously whenever you got Jared on the mound, he pitched at a 92% clip this weekend. But putting a run rule on an experienced Thunder team with a still a really solid lineup out there, I'm impressed by that. That's when I say, wow, I mean, it's easy to look at Gateway's roster and expect good things, but for you guys to show it here in March, I was like, wow, this team might be something to reckon with.
Yeah, I mean, especially in that game, like you said, Jared had 92% contact rate for the whole weekend, and we for sure know that they were missing pieces.
Yeah,
Kyle
yeah.
G, big pieces to their team. Um, but if you look at that game, towards the end of that game, fifth and sixth inning, our defense, we were getting balls third level, picking up balls, and it was fun to be out there and experiencing that. And and that's off one practice, so it's it's
No.
it's gonna be a good season this year. But
Oh,
that that that
hey, we've
that
heard
indie
that before
tournament
out of your mouth, Demo. Come on now.
that that in no that indie tournament when you got the Thunder, you got the Edge, you got the Fire, you got the Jets, you got us, you got Chicago, you got Bayou City, you got Cleveland. No, that's going to be a telling tournament. I think everybody should be full strength there. That's going to be a telling tournament. Whoever walks out of that one going to be the favorite going into the World Series.
Demo actually, Seth, I believe he's just predicting like second place for Gateway because
uh,
he guaranteed that the Jets were going to win the 2024.
okay.
Just
I didn't.
it might have
I,
been like
uh,
last August before things started changing, but he guaranteed it. So
then then there's then
okay.
there's an earthquake, Titanic place, cosmic shift. The landscape the
Mm.
landscape changed a little bit.
So your ironclad predictions aren't so ironclad.
My
They're
predictions in August deserve me the right to change my mind when the season rolls around.
okay. All right. We'll keep it. We'll
So,
keep tabs on that. We'll have you. I'm sure you'll be here 1,000 times between now and then. We'll see how you feel
So
in
yeah,
July.
yeah.
that brings us down to the Thunder, though. They finished second in this tournament. Some things that stood out to me with the Thunder, and the only, I mean, we played them. It was an ugly game. They gave us a pretty good whooping in the second inning. Um, but I listened to I was distracted. We had a player who was getting checked out at the hospital while the Thunder and the Fire were playing. I did once I was back at the house have the stream on. But whatever. I don't even remember the score. But get that from you in a second. One thing that stood out to me though is they had Cody Jeffries playing up in short right. I'm not sure if he's played short before, but I thought he played really well for them.
I think I saw him play. I think I saw him play left and short. Both sides, left and right,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
at some point. Yeah,
All right.
I know
That
he's looking for a home in that defense.
Yeah, I have no idea where he played last year. Obviously, I mean, he's been so crazy dominant on offense since joining that team. I mean,
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
the summer in general last year with all their tournaments, he was the offense MVP at the World Series. But he hit something crazy. I don't even want to throw the numbers out there because I'm sure I'll
Yeah.
go short it.
Yeah.
But he hit crazy numbers all season, then hit over 900 in this. I know it's 3 games or whatever, but he hit over 900 in this tournament. He has been a tremendous boost to that offense. Not an offense that needed a tremendous boost to it, but he has been one. But
I knew he was gonna take off with Jared. I didn't know he's gonna like go
yeah,
out of this world with Jared like that.
yeah, right. Shohei. It's impressive, but it was cool to see him. Not just him, like getting opportunity up short and responding well, but Aaron C, who made the jump from the edge to the Thunder, and we've mostly just been able to watch Aaron as a designated hitter, but he was out there getting some play in the outfield with the Thunder also.
Yeah, him and another guy that jumped from the edge, Joel Toby. He was out there playing defense too, playing. So I think he was playing in the mid level. He's out there making some plays, and they both definitely bring that back. So damn, they
Yeah,
got
I,
damn, they
I,
got pieces to work with.
I remember Joel being with the Edge, but in the games that I've, like caught from, been able to listen to with the Edge, I've not, yeah, I don't know much about Joel as a player.
I don't think he's ever
But,
attended a World Series. He's just regionals. But
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. But no, I mean, when the Thunder, have all their pieces, obviously they're going to be a big threat this year.
Oh,
That
for sure, for sure.
That takes us down to third, the Austin Blackhawks. I thought this was a good tournament for them. Pretty good tournament for Molly. I'm sure she's still, working to get her numbers up as a full-time pitcher. She was just over 70%, I think 72%
Hmm.
contact wise. And at least the game that Kendra and I did when they played the Fire.
Yeah,
She really was doing pretty well with all the bats. The only one that she struggled with, and they came up big at the end of the game, but she and Mike Finn were still struggling through that game.
yeah. I think they struggled in the game against us also. Um, that's. I mean, I think you said it on the stream. That's going to be key to their season. Um, having Mike Finn come through him having Mike Finn and Molly make that connection. When you said it on the stream, I thought of the TV show Mike and Molly.
Yeah,
Like
that's funny. I did too. I almost made a comment about it because I used to love that show, Mike and Molly. So,
yeah, yeah.
no, I thought that was funny too. But no, I mean, I mean, Seth, we played with Mike for a long time. He's got like a really consistent swing. Even when we
Right.
had pitchers that struggled with the rest of us, usually, they found a way to get Mike's bat going contact wise. And last year, at one point during the World Series, towards the end, Mike had like 10 straight strikeouts. And I don't know. There are not. This is Mike's 30th year. He started playing in 1994. There are not too many tournaments where he probably had 10 strikeouts for the whole tournament, much less 10 in a row. So when I went with Molly rolling, because she was getting pretty good contact with everybody else, and it was just a little bit of a struggle still with Mike at the beginning, like through, I think he struck out his first four at bats. Like I don't worry about that. If she's hitting other bats, obviously she's
Yeah.
finding her groove. She's gonna find Mike.
It was weird that happened at the World Series because going through the regional season last year, they had a connection. It was like Darius, her connection with Darius was like at the best I felt like, and then her connection with Mike was second best. And I don't know what happened at the World Series, but I'm glad by the end of this tournament they start finding it again.
A lot of it was towards the end of the tournament, and I think that Molly probably kind of ran into the same kind of wall that our the Sirens pitcher Mari ran into. Like when you're
Yeah,
pitching, when you've pitched a little bit through 1 and 2 day tournaments, and then go to a tournament where you're pitching 3 days in a row. Like it's a different. You got to train your body how to get
In that
ready for
heat,
that.
the
Yeah,
heat too.
right,
Mhm.
right. So I think I felt like Molly probably because most of the her real struggles came late in the tournament. I think she just kind of hit that wall of doing it for the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Mari hit that, and so I mean, I've been paying attention to what Mike's working on with Molly to get her physically more ready because we've got to do it with Mari. And Mari's been working hard for us. I don't know. I mean, I know Austin didn't have their a full roster out there, but I can't think of too many like starters that are usually in the mix that they were without. Am I forgetting
Um,
anybody?
it- no, I think that would. I think they had 8, 9 players out there. That I think that would be considered their top 8, top 9. How many
I
players they
I
had out
actually
there?
thought they only had seven. If they had more than seven, I don't know who the extra two were. Um, but either way, I guess I'm thinking that yeah, even though they do have more players, I know their roster will be bigger. I think this Austin team was kind of what we should expect, pretty close at the World Series, other than more depth.
Yeah,
You think
I would
that's
think so.
accurate?
I would
Yeah.
think so.
I thought they had a good showing. They beat Philly, who finished fourth. But Philly was out there. I mentioned a couple times that Scott Hogwood, and Tyler Rodriguez weren't there, and each
Johnny
time
Ma,
yeah,
Justin Rhymes.
exactly right. Each time I failed to continue and mention Johnny Ma wasn't there, and neither Justin Rhymes, who's becoming, in my opinion, one of the better outfielders in the league, in addition to being a big bat on their team.
And I mean, Cam wasn't there. You know, their number one spotter. Um,
Yeah, they had Casey
yeah,
Kraus. It was a Kraus. It was a Kraus fire. They had Casey Kraus's mom and brother were spotting. His brother was catching for his dad, who was pitching, and I think those three were the only like
decided
volunteers.
volunteers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that.
so too. Yeah,
Yeah. In addition to, I believe, just having the seven players also. So obviously, Philly, when they have their other four horses there in the mix, they're going to be tough, and they still almost pulled out third. Casey
yeah.
Kraus playing out of his head. I mean,
That
hitting,
that that kid,
fielding, hitting.
that kid right there. That kid is special. That kid is special. Philly got something special in that kid.
No, definitely. I mean, uh, 2 years ago, it was his rookie year, and he made the defensive all-star team. Last year, in his second season, he made the offensive and defensive all tournament team, and then he comes into this tournament and dominates on both sides of the ball again. And hitting that home run, that's the first home run anyone from the Philly Fire has ever hit.
Yeah,
Obviously his
yeah.
first. It's a big moment for their team. It's awesome that his dad's pitching, his brother's catching when that moment happens.
There was
Uh,
two firsts. Justin hit the first for the Archers,
Thank you. Yeah.
and yeah, Casey hit the first for Philly.
I was just going to bring it up because I realized when I was mentioning the home run that we didn't say anything about Justin back when we were talking about the Archers. But Justin hit what is his seventh home run overall.
Yeah,
I don't
seventh home run.
I don't know that any other player has that many. Uh, so obviously he had the second highest batting average of all the players at the tournament. Obviously, he and Mike found a groove instantly. He hit that against Austin, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
both home runs given up by that Austin defense. Obviously, their defense.
Defense has nothing to do
Yeah,
with it,
they
but
got to work on their defense. That's some terrible defense, Blackhawks. But man,
yeah,
shout out to the Fire. They look good and calling that game with Kendra. That was the first time I ever streamed a game, and that was a lot of fun. And it couldn't have been a more fun game to call. Fifth place, California. The Panthers getting to play in a regional tournament for the first time. San Gabriel Valley Panthers. Darren
hmm
Keepers in their group. They went 1-2, losing to the Archers. What was the score in that game?
18-3. And this is my first time playing the Panthers, and so I never got to see them. I don't think I've ever seen one of the games either. And Jason, I'm gonna butcher his last name, is in house.
Estern House, yeah.
Esther House, yeah. He was banging on us. He was banging on us. I think he scored all three of their runs. Couple to right field, one down, shot to left field, and so they got some promising things out there. Plus the guy Jairo Rodriguez, I think he made the defense All Star team playing the middle.
Yeah.
Picked up like 8 balls, so they got some pieces out there, and they got a growing in that program.
No, they got their one win against our Sirens, beat us 8-0, shut us out. We could not get to base on those guys. But it was just fun for me, Seth, like to be at a tournament with the California team. I don't know when Stockton last played.
Yeah, right.
It's been a really long time since a California team was at the World Series. So with you and I having our roots here in Cali, in the Cali game, in these parts being on life support at best, it was awesome to just be on the field with the California team. Kind of weird not to be on their side, but it was.
Trader.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry.
Got my Sirens jersey on, by the way. But
Uh,
shout out to them. That was only their second win. So, when you're a building program, they haven't been able to play a lot because COVID hit right after they built that team. So even though they're good 5, 6 years into their program now, they don't have a ton of game experience. So
who's their pitcher? And how did their
it,
pitcher do?
Darren Keeper's dad, and he was somewhere between like 50 and 60% contact wise, I
I
believe.
think he's a little north of 60. I think he's around like 62. I think he's a
All
little north
right.
of 60.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if it was 52 or 62. To be honest, I was drawing a blank on which number I heard. I believe Mari, our pitcher, was 52%. Pat was at 82%, since we mentioned all the other pitchers percentage wise. But obviously, it's like our Sirens team. They're kind of in development, but
Uh,
um, if they get their contact up, they're playing good enough defense that if they could get their contact up higher,
Yeah,
uh, certainly north of 70,
yeah,
they can win some games this year at the World Series, I would think.
I would
And
agree
then
with that.
it was closed off with our Sirens. We went 0-3, only scored one run in those 3 games. Not a lot to say. I knew going in that, especially bringing a new defense to the team, that literally everybody has to learn, including our spotters. That was the other thing, that not only did we throw TK into Corey Turner's spot, having not practiced that spot, we threw Bailey Badger into left field to spot because Cassandra McDaniel went to the hospital with Corey, so we lost our spotter in that game too. So I don't, whatever. I feel like I addressed the Sirens a lot at the beginning of the game. There's not a lot to say about our 0-3. We'll give a little shout out to Kalari Gertley Jackson. Sorry, don't know why I was drawing a blank, but
because it's the black turtle. God
maybe,
dang, I
nah,
didn't know.
she hates that nickname. I'm not gonna call her that anymore. Other than calling her that the very first time, I never have used it a lot, but people picked up on it, and I've found out since she hates it. You know what? Kind of ironic about it, though, Seth? She blames you for creating it, not me, even though I keep reminding her.
Hey, shocking. Somebody
Yeah.
blames me for something I had nothing to do with. It's
E-
shocking.
Even though I've reminded her twice now that it comes from me, when each time she's like, "I know, Seth." I was like, "No, it wasn't." Believe it or not, it was Seth. You, I don't want to go totally off track, but it was hilarious last summer. I'm listening to a Chicago stream, and it's Dave Smoka, his daughter Sam, and Erica, who is Nick Lopez's granddaughter, who does a lot of their streaming. It's all three of them. And Kalari makes a play in the outfield, and the players are like, "Yeah, Black Turtle," and Sam on the broadcast, it's like, "Hey, good job, Black Turtle." And Dave Smoka gets offended. He's like, "Hey, don't call her that." And Sam's like, "What? It's a nickname they gave her." And Dave's like, "Who gave her that nickname?" They're listening, like, "I don't know." They did it. Seth did it.
Yeah, right. That did it. Yeah.
But when I was talking to Kalari after that, I wanted to tell her the story about the stream. And I was like, Dave's like, "Who called her that?" She's like, it's Seth. It's like, yeah, it was.
Yes, yes. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I am used to it, man. I am used
Everybody
to it.
needs a fall guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's amazing. I take falls for all sorts of different people too.
So I got distracted because I wanted to give a shout out to Kalari. I had her playing mid left in our defense, and she, out of all, because remember, Seth, they separated short, mid, and deep, and she finished third overall for the mid level players in put
Good.
out. So I was happy with that. Caitlin Overshiner, who is playing short left, and remember, she just started playing the game last year. So I like, I mean, we're throwing her in the hottest spot and putting a lot of pressure on her, but I want to say she finished seventh overall for the short players. And keep in mind too, we got run ruled in two of our three games, so they only played 11 innings, not even two full games. So TK, we threw her up. I think overall she finished like 14th in putouts in total putouts. And Kim was like somewhere right around 25 playing our mid right. So I did get some protection out of my player, or some production out of my players. We got a long ways to go. Another shout out to Winter Pingle, who just started playing last year, and she's never played in the outfield. And I not only threw her in deep left, but when we go to our right field shift, that player goes to deep right. So it's like we were playing in wind. She couldn't hear the ball half the time. She's playing something she's never done. But neither Winter or anybody else on the team like complained. It's as rough as time we had, man. They all stood in there and gave me all the fight we had because we were down to six players before we ever got started, and we had a rough time getting through, but they all got through and didn't complain. So
Because you know why? At the end of the day, it's still beat ball.
yeah.
When everything is all said and done, still beat ball, and that's all we want to do is play ball.
True that. And that's what attracted me to this team. People might wonder, I had other opportunities that I had a really, really good team asked me to become their head coach during this offseason, and I chose to go do this instead. My heart was already set on doing this before they asked me, but I chose to go do this instead because, and I've talked to you, Seth, about it, just like how like last summer, just getting inducted into the hall and thinking about the beginning of my career and thinking about how many opportunities I was given. I know if I was a female player, I wouldn't have gotten those same opportunities. You guys know that. I just wouldn't have had the same career. So when the sirens started asking me just for like advice and stuff, I just wanted to, I don't know, can't make up for any of that or change any of the past, but this is just where I'd rather spend my time trying to help. All right, let's at least give a shout out to our all-star alternate team. We've mentioned them here and there, but the top batting average went to Cody Jeffries,
Only
Justin
person to get him out
Holland.
was Jared.
Would
The only person to get him out was Jared. I think
have been perfect if it
he
wasn't
would have
for
been.
Jared.
Yeah.
The second highest was Justin Holland, and the third was Ethan, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mr. Johnston. Um, Real quick on Jared and offense, Seth, when we were playing the Thunder, Clint Woodard Jared's dad was the designated fielder, but before they were done running us, they put Clint up to the plate, and Jared announced it because I was standing up by home plate most of the time through all our games. And Jared announced it to the scorekeepers. He's like, Neil, did you hear that? I was like, I did. Are you asking me to push the wheelchair all the way up the baseline? But I shouldn't have been talking smack because Clint scored on us. Wheelchair or not, he scored, I think, twice. He might have come up again. They had a big inning. We did decent against them in the first inning, but they had a big inning in the second inning against us, and Clint was some of that. On defense, they separated the level short, mid, and deep. Our short MVP was Casey Kraus by a large margin, I have to assume. Maybe I don't have that right, but he was awesome this tournament.
I think it was he had 23, and I think second one was Little Ricky with 13. So yeah.
Yeah, Casey was impressive somewhere, just under, not somewhere, but just under 8 putouts per game. In the mid section, it was Jairo Rodriguez from the Panthers that pulled that award in. And then for the deep, we had a tie between Justin Holland, Mike Finn, and Mariano Reynoso. And then Ethan Johnston was the utility player. Where all did Ethan play? Did he?
He plays short right and then deep right.
All right.
He got like 7 putouts in short right and got 1 in deep right.
All right. Well, I like that all worked out. It seems that not with the utility player, but the MBBA is going to be doing the same thing this year with the short, mid, and deep, and I like to see it. I don't know. Seth's talked about it. Kevin Simpson's talked about it years and
Yeah.
years ago. It was long overdue to make this change, so I'm glad we're finally making it.
Yeah, and that gives hope to all those guys in right field. Mariano played right field. He made it in this tournament. I know it's just a 3-game tournament, but it can be done.
Right. All right, that's all I got on the tournament. Shout out to Mind's Eye Radio. Shout out to SoCal Beepball Association or Beep Baseball Association.
Oh, wait. Shout out to
Yeah.
Fonzie.
All
Shout
right,
out to Fonzie.
we could throw him in there
Fonzie,
too.
Fonzie
Provided
made all
all
the
the
balls.
equipment. Yeah, the
Yeah, the
balls.
balls, the bases sound good. The balls were excellent. You go through 1 to 2 balls a game. It makes the games go a lot faster. I
I
don't think,
really didn't pay attention to that until after the tournament, but we did
yeah,
not break a lot of balls. I
we
got to give that credit.
California bought 50 balls. Darren said he took home 34 brand new ones, 8 used, and 8 dead. And we were hitting hard balls out there. Like there weren't any balls that would have been breaking last year that weren't being hit. So
Yeah, we're hoping to get our Fonzie balls. The tournament was played with Fonzie balls, but both of our practices we are using Denver balls. So that was another adjustment all our young players had to make. Have I made enough excuses for our 3 losses yet? But no, shout out to Fonzie who didn't just provide the bases and the balls, but he was out there helping in any way he could. I got to see him a few times. But the whole brain trust of SoCal Beat Baseball Association and Mind's Eye Radio, Jason Frazier and Mike Curtis. I mean, they are who made this happen in Vegas, and I think it was a successful tournament. So shout out to everybody there.
yeah, shout out to all the teams that came out, participated, played hard, played some good ball. It was a good way to kick off the season. I felt like it was a good showing for teams, and just more to come. Next tournament, April 26th in Oklahoma.
Yeah, kicked off what is going to be an extremely, extremely busy beat baseball season.
Yes. I'm excited about this season with all the weekends of b-ball we get this year.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I'm excited about this season with all the weekends of b-ball we get this year.
I usually
all the way through to St. Charles.
I usually get like the end of the show ready so I don't have to look for it while we're talking. And I realized I hadn't done that yet. And then yeah, I that's why I missed part of what you said. But now it's good. And for your tournament committee or your rankings committee, it's going to be a busy season with all
Yeah.
these tournaments and games. It's going to be a wild ride.
Be
So,
there. It'll be wild.
but no, you're good. Before we bounce, I'll make it official. I don't think it's any secret. I know it was put out in Beepball Nation. I've told people over the last few days. I have been nominated to run for president of the National Beep Baseball Association, and I have proudly accepted that nomination.
So you're not running for the board?
I actually thought I could do both, but when the nomination for president, when I was sent back a response asking if I accept it, I had to make a choice for one or the other. I mean, I never went into when I accepted the board nomination. At that time, I wasn't locked in on running for president, even though this is not at all the first time I've thought of this or planned on it. Um, I was in the mindset of kind of getting on the board and getting back in the groove of the board, and then running for president later. But one caveat to that for me was if other people ran, that I was also going to throw my name in there. And though it's just my and Jerry's name in there, I have heard of at least two other names that are considering putting their names in there. And um, I've had every intention on being the next president. When we had Tracy Jackson on, and I mentioned the book that he shared with me, the 12 pillars that got me to write my 100 goals. Like I have five main long-term goals, and one of those five was to be the next president of the MBBA. Um, and I don't know. It's I guess time to make that jump. It has nothing to do with Jerry or anybody else. I called Jerry before my nomination was sent in because I wanted him to hear it from me. But it has nothing to do with anybody else. Seth, you know, I've been talking about this for a long time,
Yes.
and even recently. Um, so it's not an original thought. I wish I could have run back in 2017, but on a personal level, I wasn't in a place yet to where I could commit to it, and I now am. This is the first time since then that I know I could put my name in there and leave it in there. So
So
Well,
you went
good. You know,
from
we can be presidents together. You know, I'm the president of the Junior Blue Devils now, so
I
we
did
can be
not know that.
we can be presidents of sports organizations together, Neil Dog. Start an association.
What were you
so
going to
you
ask?
you went from being done with B-ball in '09 to
I
starting
would,
B-ball
Hey,
Blue
hey,
Show
the
to
Beepball Blues
coaching to
show,
coming out to
right?
the World
Hey, the
Series to
Beepball Blues
coaching the
show has been the
Sirens.
vehicle for all
Now
of
you
this.
want to be the president. I blame COVID. I blame COVID.
Uh,
to
Damn.
be clear, I was never done with beatball. I was done with the dogs. And be clear on that. I walked away from the dogs. I never walked away from beatball. I was on the tournament
Fair
committee
enough.
then, and I
Fair enough.
stayed on it until Blake Boudreau made sure I was thrown off in 2017. I was never done with beatball. Took me a
Fair
while
enough.
to work my way back into it and find my place again. But I've never been done with beatball, and nor do I ever plan to be done with beatball. So, uh, I don't know. I guess have more on my platform and stuff like that later. I'll put that out in writing, like I think most people do. I don't want to use the show to run for a position. Kind of, I guess going back to your original question though, Seth, I thought I mean, I always thought it'd be, I guess, wise to leave my name in both
right.
for the board and the president. I've never assumed I could get elected onto the board, and I certainly don't assume I could get elected as president, or that I will be. I guess I can be because my name's in there, but I don't assume that I will be. So I'm serious about wanting to be more involved. So if I don't get president, I wish I could have the board spot to fall back on. And I thought in the past you could run for both spots or two spots, but I was asked to make a choice, and I choose the president because I've wanted to do it for a long time. This is not brand new. I don't know. I there's not a lot of areas in my life that I would boast about or speak confidently about, especially in a leadership role. But in beat baseball, I've always, if I was on a team, I usually ended up as a captain. When I was on the board and on the tournament committee, I was always an active voice. I mean, I, I, I don't know. I find ways to put myself in a leadership role when it comes to this sport, and I've gotten a lot of support through that, and I guess I just want to take it to the next level now. That's all I got on that. You guys got anything else before we jump?
Um, I can't wait to see who these next two candidates. Like I've never seen a four-person race for president of the NBBA, so that ought to be exciting.
All right, baby. I won't make any jokes.
One of I guess one of the names I have confirmation. I'm not going to share it, but they shared with me privately that it's something they wanted to do. And the other one, I guess, came to me kind of third hand. So how serious that is, I don't know. Another person reached out to me privately earlier this week, encouraging me to do something else, but because they had picked somebody they wanted to support as president. So I don't, for all I know, that's a third name in addition to Jerry and mine, rather than one of the two names I had already heard. I didn't ask for a name. It wasn't shared with me, but I guess in the end, like, why let somebody else run for it and then me run for it in 2 years if I already know I want it? If I've wanted it for a long time, and I'm not getting any younger, life, could be short sometimes, and I don't know. I don't like some of the things that have gone on in this league, period, over the last 7, 8 years. I complain about it on this show sometimes, and running my mouth and complaining isn't helping anything. So I'm willing to get in and get my hands dirty and give the best me I've got to give in hopes that it can help. So,
well, good luck.
thanks, man.
Yes, good luck.
Not that you'll be there to even vote.
Nope.
but thank you.
Hey, I saw Fonzie. He's still looking for players, so he's out in Vegas. He's still looking for players.
Yeah. We'll
you got the number?
I do.
It's official now. Seth has acknowledged that. The end. All right, man. I'm gonna set my mic down so I can end the recording, end the stream. But thank you to anyone and everyone that checked this all out. The season is just getting rolling. We will keep rolling out with some episodes and doing our best to cover it all. So everybody, until next time, be well.
FTA, baby.
What does that mean?
Bata.
What is that? FTA.
For the arrow.
Oh,
for the arrow.